session where if you have any questions, we'll kind of open the floor up a little bit, and even if you have some more individual questions, we'll be around afterwards if you want to come up and speak with us. So, these are some of the topics that we'll be going over this evening: requirements for college admissions, SAT and ACT testing, the Naviance program that we have here on campus for student support with college and career readiness, an overall view of college options, alternative post-secondary options. Maybe college isn't the next step for your students and they want to see what else is available for them, and then financial aid and scholarships. So that's always a big one. All right, so first off, I know it's a little hard to see up there, but as far as introductions go, my name is Siobhan Parley. I'm the department chair for counseling here at Mission Vista High School, and I have the caseload of 11th and 12th graders, A through H. Then we have Angel Chavarine, who's over here. He is the 11th and 12th grade counselor, I through Z. Then we have a new addition, Peter Kramer, this year. He is the 10th grade counselor here at Mission Vista. And we have Howard Warnick, who's been with us throughout Mission Vista's start, and he is the counselor for all 9th grade students. Some other very important people that we try to get our students and parents to know about on campus who can help you guys are: the top one, we have Valerie Wethy, and she is probably still out in the front. She's the one that gave you the sheets when you walked in today. So she is our career technician, so she helps with scholarships, work permits, financial aid, can answer college information. So she's a wealth of knowledge. We try to tell students, make her your best friend, because when it comes to finding money for college, she's our go-to person on campus. So how many of you guys in here are seniors or are the parents of seniors? Okay, good. All right, so each of you who raised your hands should have already turned in 2 pieces of paper to Mrs. Wethy so far this year. One of them being a Cal Grant form, which has your information on it so we can submit it to the state of California, so that when you're applying for FAFSA, which is financial aid information, in January, we can send your information so they can match it up and give you the most money possible. If you need that form, we do have extras on the table out front. And the second piece of information that you should have turned into Mrs. Wethy so far is a scholarship inventory form. And what that is we want to find out some general information about students, so that way when we get scholarships in, we can best match our students to those scholarships. And she can look through and go, oh, I remember this student is really involved in bowling, and we got a bowling scholarship in. Let me find that student, and it's going to send them out scholarships for that. So make sure you get those in. If you have never met Mrs. Wethy before, she's going to get up and talk a little bit later, but become her best friend and get her to know you. That way she can throw those scholarships out at you when they come across. We also have Mrs. Denise May. She is our data processor. So about a week or so ago, we did welcome assemblies with all of our students on campus, 9 through 12. 12th graders received a current transcript for themselves, and we told students, look at your information that's on there. If your name is spelled wrong, if your address is incorrect, if your parents' names aren't on there, if telephone numbers are wrong, any of that information, it needs to go through Mrs. May. And we want to try to get that information as accurate as possible before we start sending out transcripts to colleges or scholarships that you guys are going to be applying to, because we want that information to match and we don't want you guys to run into any conflicts. The next really important person on here is Cheryl Embry. So she's our school registrar, so that means she's in charge of all student transcripts. So if you need a transcript requested by a college, you request that through the Naviance program, which I'll be talking about a little bit later. But she's the one that will send that out, whether it's to a college, a scholarship, NCAA, or if you, let's say you need a form for your car insurance or anything like that, because you have that 3.0, you can request that through her as well. Or if there are any marks on your transcript that are incorrect, let's say, for example, your student actually got an A in a class, but it's showing a B on there, she would be the person to speak with, and then we can start investigating it with your previous teachers.
Okay, guys, so as seniors, I know that if there's one thing I can do to open as many doors as possible is to get you a high school diploma. And that's step number one here. So as seniors, I need to make sure that you guys are all meeting your graduation requirements. So to go over a couple of them. English, you need 40 credits. Social studies, you need 40 credits. Math, you need 30 credits. Science, you need 20 credits. Fine arts or foreign language, you need 10 credits. Physical education, you need 30 credits. Elective credits, you need 50, totaling 220. Each year at Mission Vista here, students have the possibility of gaining up to 80 credits. So if you do the math, that's about 320 credits total. So any student here at Mission Vista is probably going to exceed the number of credits here. But universities and a lot of outside organizations want to see students take advantage of all the opportunities here. So they want to see students reach those maximum numbers, take all the classes, take advantage of all the electives this campus has to offer. So this is why Mission Vista is such a unique place. So if we can get you guys to pass all your classes, I'll be happy. A passing grade is a D or higher. So a D, a C, a B, or an A will give you 5 credits towards whatever subject you're in. If you get an F, you don't get any credits. So we try to encourage our students to at least meet those minimum requirements so that they can get their graduation out of the way. So, what happens when you meet your graduation requirement? The first opportunity that comes to you is community college, 2-year college, a trade or technical school, military, work, or a gap year. These are options that you can go into right after getting your high school diploma. You don't need to take the SAT. You don't need to take prep classes. You don't need to send in any applications. All you really need is a high school diploma, and you need to be 18 years old to enter these things. So I want to make that very clear because a lot of students go to MiraCosta and Palomar and they're like, well, I'm signing up for the SAT, I'm taking a bunch of cram classes. The SAT isn't important to you. You don't need to take the SAT if you're going to a community college. All you have to do is graduate with a high school diploma and then enroll there in the fall. So I just want to be very clear. Trade or technical schools are schools that are going to offer more specific focus. So if you go to a school like UTI, they're going to focus in auto mechanics. If you go to WyoTech, they're focusing on a lot of plumbing. ITG Technical Institute focuses on other things. So you really want, if that's what you're looking for and you're looking for a very specific route, trade or technical schools are always good options. We do have military recruiters here on campus that come and talk to our students. We also have the ASVAB. For those of you who are juniors in the audience or below, if you would like to take the ASVAB, we're going to be offering it this year as an opt-in option. So if a student wants to take it, either freshman, sophomore, or junior, please come to the counseling office and see us. But the military are always here to answer questions. They can help you with anything you guys need. A lot of students do choose to work also. So when they go, they have to work for a year so that they can make enough money to pay for college. That's okay. We just encourage students to develop a plan for after high school. Even the gap year is a great option. On our online database, Naviance, we're going to be, there's a section on there where students can actually look for enrichment programs that are going to help them just develop better senses of where they want to end up in life. So we really encourage students to not only look at life after high school, but plan for it. So once you get your high school diploma, there's really a lot you can do with it. It's just making that plan that's the important part. So just to cover a couple community college options. So around here we have the ones you always hear about, MiraCosta and Palomar, but San Diego in general has a lot of community colleges. You have Mesa College, you have Grossmont, you have San Diego City, and you have Southwestern College. And up and down California, there's plenty of community colleges students can go into. So I had some friends in high school who ended up going to Santa Barbara City College because they didn't want to stay here in San Diego. So a lot of students have those opportunities to go out and go into other communities and other cities to take classes. And it'll still kind of be that college level feel. Sometimes when students tend to stick around San Diego, stick around Palomar, MiraCosta, it tends to feel like another year of high school. So a lot of students just need that little change. When you get to community colleges, they have programs such as TAG programs, Transfer Admissions Guarantees, where you can sit down with a counselor and actually start planning a path into a UC school. So if that's an option that you're thinking about, community colleges are great for doing that. Just make sure that you're talking to your counselors and getting all those resources because they are available to you. If you're looking at community colleges outside of the region, this is a website, and this whole presentation is going to be online after tonight, so you guys can go on and click on any of these links. So, just to give you a little more information about community colleges, there's 112 community colleges statewide. Applications are due several months before enrollment. There is a $0 application fee. So students and families are always welcome at community colleges. Placement tests usually do happen, so when a student graduates from high school, they tend to have to take a placement test at the community college to see where they're at in terms of English and math usually. And then you're guaranteed acceptance if you're 18 years or older or have a high school diploma. And then, like I mentioned before, we do have different branches of the military here. So I know today we had our Marine recruiter on campus, our Navy recruiter comes on campus all the time. Army recruiters, they're always here to answer any questions students may have about joining the military.
Hi, good evening, everybody. College applications, this is an overview of the four-year colleges now. So we're looking at the Cal State system, the CSUs, the UCs, private colleges, both in-state and out-of-state, and then out-of-state, which can also be state schools that are out-of-state, and private schools as well. We never fail to talk about the A through G requirements. Hopefully none of you are tired of it yet, but the bottom line of this is these requirements are typical of college acceptance throughout the country. The A through Gs is just a letter that refers to a subject area and explains itself there pretty well as far as how many years of each subject. We monitor these constantly with the students at school, so we're looking at these as soon as a freshman shows up at the door and all the way through, and we're always taking steps to make sure that students are on track to meet these. College admissions testing. If you're going to try to attend or plan on attending a four-year college, you will also have to take a college admissions exam. There are two exams that are out there that are accepted equally amongst all schools. One is the SAT, which has been around for a little bit longer than the other, and the ACT is also there. There's going to be another page on the slideshow that shows the differences between the two. It's going to be way too detailed for you to see up here, so plan on looking on that online when you get a chance. The test dates are October 11th, November 8th, and December 6th. Those are the test dates. Typically, registration has to happen at least a month ahead of those. Okay. Right now, I would bet there are many of the test centers that are full already for the October 11th date. The reason that one's an advantage for people is that they take that and sometimes get the results before they're actually submitting their applications to the UCs or CSUs. So it's good to have that information. You can still submit and take the test. It's just I'm not sure where. It might not be as local as you think. October, November, and December dates. The ACT is October 25th and December 13th. The test dates, even though those last two are in December on the ACT and the SAT, they're still accepted by the colleges, but you cannot test any later than that. So even if you're taking it a first or a second time, those are the last test dates that the colleges will accept, even though you're going to submit your application before that. Let's see what else we got there. Fee waivers, check in with the counseling office for those. Okay. The test fees, important. The SAT is $51. The ACT is $52.50 with writing. If you're applying to a UC or most private colleges, you're going to want to have that with writing, so make sure when you specify the ACT, you take it with writing. Just figure you're going to pay a little over $50, and that's the target. That'll help you remember which one you're taking. The Cal State system does not require the writing component, but for the little difference, you might as well do it and keep yourself eligible for all your options. This is that detailed page I wanted to warn you about, so I'm going to go past that. But you'll be able to see it in detail on our website. Cal State universities, there's 23 Cal State universities throughout the state, mostly near metropolis areas, but not always. Humboldt and Chico are pretty far out in the state, but 23 different schools. The campus each campus is unique and different, and the best way to investigate those is take a look at the CSU Mentor website. I'll address this now and I'll address it again. The application deadline for these is November 30th. They are serious about deadlines. The UC system, the CSU system, any of the colleges, the ones that have way more applicants than they have seats, they're always very serious about deadlines. With the Cal State University system, it's a $55 application fee. You want to fill out one application completely. For whichever school you're starting out with, you fill out one application completely. Have somebody double check it with you also. You want to make sure all the information is as accurate as possible. Because if you're going to apply to another school, it's going to load all that information from that first application to the next one. Okay? And if you made an error and you've got 4 applications going, you're going to go back and try to fix the error in all of those, so it's not worth it. So really spend time making sure that first application is done well and done complete. There is a portion that you're going to answer on the application about a fee waiver for the application. You can only answer that set of questions once. Once you submit, there's no going back, so make sure you submit your information accurately. If granted, you get 4 free applications to the Cal State system. Okay. Let's see, that November 30th date, here's what makes that pretty unique. That's right after Thanksgiving. November 30th is a Sunday this year. Guess which week nobody is in the school? The week prior. Okay? So, November 21st is probably the last day of school that anybody will be around to answer any questions, to deal with, to respond to emails, to get a phone call done, our registers, anybody. You won't find anybody here after the 21st, but your applications are due on the 30th. So in my mind, I'm thinking, wow, let's make sure we get it done early and get it turned in early. If we run into any questions, we take care of that with while the staff is still present. Okay, I'm going to touch on that one more time just to make sure we really hit home with that. The University of California system consists of 9 colleges, also located throughout the state. Need an academic GPA of 3.0 or higher just to apply, typically higher than that to be competitive. As Mr. Chavarine talked about, there's TAG programs, which is guaranteed acceptance if you're coming through a community college. 6 of the 9 UCs are still involved in that. The 3 that aren't are Berkeley, UCLA, and UCSD. Again, they have their application on the Cal State University system through CSU Mentor. That application opens October 1st, and you can start working on it then. You can actually put a lot of information in ahead of time. If you go onto CSU Mentor and under High School Planner, you can start putting in all the information off your transcript then. So we know every senior has a transcript. We know you have all your courses listed. They're only looking for 10th grade and 11th grade courses. Actually, you're going to put all 4 years in, but they calculate your GPA from 10th and 11th grade. And some of the courses you're going to put in process, and then some are planned. So whatever you're in process in the fall is how you enter it, and planned is what you're going to be doing in the spring. You can actually fill out a lot of that information on the high school planner part of the CSU Mentor for the Cal State system, and then it uploads directly to the application. So you can actually start quite a bit of that now. For the University of California system, this is the first year they opened up the applications August 1st. You can't submit until November 1st, but you can start on it already. So they're trying to just give a bigger window for students to be more complete, more thorough on their applications, and make sure everything is done correctly. 9 schools throughout the state. There's a $70 application fee. Same thing again, you want to make sure you fill out one application thoroughly and completely before you set it up again to submit to another school. That fee is per school, so it's $55 on the Cal State University system, and that's every school. You have to make an application to each school that you're planning to apply to, and the same with the UC system, $70 each school that you plan to apply to. It's not just one application takes care of all of them, okay? Then private and out-of-state, this was the information there. There's a website at the bottom. We'll have it set up as a link on the PowerPoint that you'll be able to see on the school website. Private and out-of-state options. Even in the state of California, there's 76 private schools that are WASC accredited that belong to an association called AICCU. That's not on our slide, but we'll add that later. 3,800 campuses nationwide. There's a lot of choices out there. There's colleges that are as big as a city, like about 50,000 students, and there's colleges that are about the size of your graduating class, 300 or 400 students. So there's a huge range of colleges that are available out there for you. Your goal is really to try to find the best match to who you are and where you want to go. So near the city, away from the city, big school, small school, co-ed, or specialized in some area. A lot of decisions to make. The more you read and get yourself aware of it, the better off you're going to be. Almost all the colleges, a lot of them anyway, and all the UCs for sure, and a lot of the schools in the state, have a website and have ways of you navigating through it to see virtual tours. Just get a lot of information without having to necessarily visit. Visiting is always one of the best ways to do that. We're kind of late in the window for that, but there's still schools nearby. If you haven't been around to those, at least you could see those. Applications for the private colleges, some of them have like early decision, early action things that go on by about November 1st. A lot of them have a January 1st deadline, and then some of them have rolling application windows in which they might notify you that, okay, we didn't accept you in this round, but we're going to do another round of applications all the way into February, March, April. There's schools that take students all the way into the summer. So you just need to be aware of what the schools are that you're applying to, what their application deadlines are, and make sure you meet those. So college application and filing dates. That October 1st to November 30th date is what the CSU system sticks to. I'm very serious about those deadlines. If it's 12:01 midnight, like 1 minute into the morning on Monday morning, December 1st, you will not be able to submit. So the same thing would be with the UC system. If you're late, they don't care. They say, thank you very much. We've got plenty others that we're going to be reviewing for acceptance. So deadlines are critical. If you're ever applying to any not community, but private schools, very often they will throw emails back at you they might ask you an odd question, or they might want another piece of information from you or something like that. How promptly you respond and how thoroughly you respond sets a tone with that school about your interest. Make sure your emails are open and active. You cannot use your Vista Unified School District email for any of this process because it is isolated just to our district. So you need to have your own email. You probably don't want something that says like funkychicken96@yahoo.com, okay? Because they do read them at some point. I think it's a little more automatic and they might not see that. But ideally you want to have something that's a little more notable. You're going to use the same kind of application or the same kind of email when you apply to scholarships, which is going to be the next big window that comes up. So have something steady, make sure you monitor it constantly. And you as the student do that, okay? It's all right to have mom and dad come in and make sure that you're on top of things, but by the end of this year, you guys got to have it, okay? You're on your own from this point forward, and once you graduate high school, your decisions, your diligence, your commitment. So mom and dad, it's important that they do the job, but they've got to do the job, okay? That includes writing the essays and all that stuff, all right? After you've made your applications, you wait, because you're going to wait and see what's going on. For those tests that I told you about, the SAT and the ACT, you designate which schools are going to receive those, okay? There's a code for the CSUs, and it's a 4-digit code. It's 3594. If you send one of your test responses on the SAT to that, all the CSUs will get it. If you send one response to the UC system, all the UCs will share it, okay? So that's for the SAT. For the ACT, the UC system, which is the 9 universities, if you send it to one, all of them will get it. For the Cal State system, there's a special process within CSU Mentor. It's called, ACT, Where did I have that? It'll be on the website for you as part of the slide. But that's how you send it to all the Cal State schools. All right, so test results are your responsibility to make sure that they get to the schools. They might notify you if they don't have it, but they have to receive it when they do their review of applications, okay? Those December dates for the ACT and the SAT, those are still good, even though they're after the application window. The schools will still get the information in time for them to make their decision. Earlier decisions from colleges, local schools you might hear towards the end of January or beginning of February. Some of the schools ran pretty late in the past few years, middle of March, late part of March. The bottom line though is the deadline is that you have to decide which school you're going to by May 1st. You make your commitment by then or sooner. Okay? If you miss the May 1st deadline, you know, good luck. It's not going to happen because I cannot overemphasize the importance of deadlines. Okay? Make sure you're on top of those. Parents, that's definitely where you can help out. You know, if you want to plan out a calendar and make sure things are done by certain dates, earlier is always better. You don't want to be up until 11 o'clock on November 30th waiting for the response because that system is going to get so loaded down, you're going to submit your application and you're just going to watch the screen for a while. I did this with my son. It wasn't quite the 30th, but it was a good 45 minutes before a response came back that they received it. And I'm thinking on the 30th, it could be longer. So if you don't want to be up all night that night, so do things early and make sure things are submitted properly. There's a few college fairs that are local here. The first one is the San Diego, North San Diego Central College Fair. It's on Wednesday, October 8th at El Camino High School. We think it's a 5 o'clock starting time for that. North County Christian College Fair is on Tuesday, October 14th at Tri-City Christian High School. And the CalSoap, which is a fairly large college fair, is down in Mission Valley at the Scottish Rite Center, and that's on Wednesday, October 29th. What these are is, you know, the college representatives will have tables set up. Sometimes they are admissions people, sometimes they are just marketing people for the school, but they always have a direct connection to the school and they know their schools well. So if you want to walk and see and talk and get some more information, those are always valuable. Any of you who are juniors, or if you have juniors in your family, this is also a great opportunity to do that and get some exposure with the colleges that are out there. There's nothing like talking firsthand with somebody who can tell you about the school and the climate and what it's like there and from a firsthand perspective. Okay.
Good evening. Okay, now we're going to look at paying for college, since I'm the person here that pretty well handles the scholarships. For all my juniors and seniors, before I get to that, make sure you turn in your Cal Grant forms for your financial aid. I have about 120 of them right now, and there's about 400 in the class, so I need those in as soon as possible. Okay, first things we have is types of financial aid are the scholarships. Scholarships are put on daily on your Naviance system. So when you go into Naviance, you click the icon that says scholarships, they're all listed there. If we have any freshmen, sophomores, or juniors here, there are scholarships for you too besides the seniors. Also grants, federal loans, student employment. I know a lot of my seniors are coming to me this year for work permits. I know a lot of you are getting jobs out there, and that's one way to save some of the money for college. And there's also loans with payment plans. Okay, your resources are your Naviance, and everyone, I passed out the navigation thing to you this evening. It kind of tells you how to go through there and find different things in Naviance that you're looking for. Mission Vista, the MVHS VistaUSD.org. There's a couple other websites on there, the Merit Aid and the FastWeb, that have hundreds and hundreds of scholarships that you can go in and search on your own. You can go in and you can Google on Google and just say senior high school scholarships. You'll get a whole list of scholarships there too. So just check everything out and make sure you're getting everything in on time.
lot of you are like, this is all we're getting from financial aid. Don't worry, we're gonna have a financial aid night, actually in January when students come back for their second term. That will be a lengthy presentation like tonight's, but with some very important information. We're actually trying to get the financial aid advisors from some of our local four-year colleges to come out that evening and give you guys some other tips and tricks that's from the college perspective that can help you as you guys are filling out your FAFSA application. How many of you guys have heard of FAFSA before, at least have some ideas? Okay, good hands up tonight. You guys are educated, I like it. One other thing as far as paying for college, paying for SATs, ACTs, those types of things, the fee waivers for the SAT or ACTs you can get through Mrs. Weethy. So she's your main contact for that. One of the rules of thumb that we have here is if you already qualify and are receiving free or reduced lunch on campus, then you qualify for a fee waiver. If you think that you qualify for free or reduced lunch but don't get it already, that's fine. Just come into us. We can look into that information for you. We may need some tax information just to verify that, but we can discuss that further with you before that evening. A couple other things before I get into letters of recommendation. We will be hosting college application workshops. So if students or parents are needing help through their applications or they just want to be in a room, that way if they come across a question, you can ask one of the counseling staff here. Every Tuesday from September 16th, so it's starting next Tuesday, through the last Tuesday that we're here in November, which is the 18th. So about 2 months of workshop dates will be available in room 902 from 3 to about 4, sometimes 4:30, all depending on the needs of the students or parents at that time, that we'll actually sit there and help you go through your college applications if you need that. We had a lot of students use it last year. It seemed like very small amounts in the very beginning of September, and then as October picked up, the groups picked up because their friends got the word that, oh my God, you need to go to this thing because I need help, and they helped me answer these questions. So feel free to come into those. If you have any questions about those, let us know. It's on our calendar on the counseling page, the time and the location, so come in for those. One question that I want to ask, how many students have already started filling out your CSU mentor or your UC application? Not as many hands as the other one. Okay, so that's something that all seniors can start filling out already. So if you haven't done that yet, I would say start creating your account for the UC website, start creating your account for your CSU mentor account. Start getting those going, putting in your basic information of your name, your address, parent information, and then if you have questions, please come to those workshops that start next week on Tuesday because we can help you. And if you guys get a head start on it, then you won't be stuck with the other greater population that's going to be working on their applications until November 30th. Some other things as far as applications go, there are different types of application processes that are out there. A lot of times, the majority of colleges have a regular decision. That means there's a deadline when their application opens, there's a deadline when your application closes. Some schools have an early decision application, and a lot of kids get really excited about this because they think, oh cool, early decision, I let them know I want to apply, and they get back to me earlier than any other schools. Well, yes, that's true, but that also means that the majority of those early decisions are binding contracts, meaning that if that school says, yes, okay, we've got your application, you're good to go, we're going to take you, you're going to that school. You have to get rid and tell all the rest of the schools that you're planning on applying to or already have paid for that applications to be submitted, that you can't go to their school, that you have to go to this other school. So be very careful with those. If you have questions about that, come into the workshops, come in and see us in counseling. Ask us about those types of things before sending them out because you don't want that early decision school to be the school that's on the bottom of your list. You want that to be like your #1 school that you know that you can get into even if financially it's a little bit of wiggle room. You want to make sure that you can go to that school no matter what. So just be very careful with those types of things. Okay, another really important thing, letters of recommendation. Colleges, mainly private schools or out-of-state schools, will require students to have letters of recommendation for their application. It will be part of the student's application. Letters of recommendation are not required for UC or CSU schools. So please do not send us a request for a letter of recommendation to a UC or CSU school unless you're applying to a specific major or maybe a scholarship that school is requesting that they need a letter of recommendation for you. Just do it for the schools that are actually requiring it. Ask politely. Don't come into us 2 days before and be like, I just found out this, I need you to do that. You know, come in beforehand at least 15 school days. So very important. If your application is due on November 30th, that does not mean come in on November 18th, because that means we only have 4 school days. So that does not fit into that. And if you're asking us for letters of recommendation, whether it's teachers that you're requesting them from, whether it's community members, maybe it's a coach that you have had in a rec league outside of school, somebody that knows you very well, those need to be done well in advance so that they can take the time to actually write this letter that's going to really show your true colors and the amazing student that you are and what you have to offer to those colleges. So please, 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 we cannot stress this enough, get this done way in advance. One of the things that we require students to do before they actually request letters of recommendation from any staff member on campus is fill out a brag sheet. Now, brag sheets are exactly what they sound like. Students get to brag about themselves. Parents, you guys like this, you love to brag about your students. You get to brag on here about how wonderful they are and all these great accomplishments that they've been able to overcome in the last couple years. So it's just a lot of really good information that we can get, that we can review. That way when we're writing their letter of recommendation, it's not just maybe some of just the academic information that we have, that we get to offer to the schools, but also some other great details that can be offered. Counselors, some students request letters of recommendation from counselors. Colleges and even scholarships like to see how letters of recommendation are related to the student typically and the major that they're applying to. So if you are a biology major, it's a very good idea to go to your biology teacher if you've got a good grade in, that you've built a relationship with the last couple of years, and ask them for that letter of recommendation, because it will hold more value typically than it will somebody else, maybe like an art teacher, for that. So try to relate your letters of recommendation. If you are freaking out right now and realizing, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to some of these teachers in years, go back, pop in their room, they're gonna love to see you. Just build that relationship back up with them, so that way when you're asking for these letters of recommendation, they can have something to talk about and they say yes to you instead of, no, I'm too busy, I'm doing something else. So letters of recommendation are all requested through Naviance, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, of how you can kind of navigate through the program and request these types of things or fill out this information. And your brag sheet can be found on the About Me tab within your Naviance application or window. Some other important information. This is all information that you want to gather before you start doing your applications. So things that you need to have available that colleges or universities are really going to want from you: social security number if you have one, your high school seat code, and so this is Mission Vista 054347, so that's our high school. If you attended a different high school other than Mission Vista, you may need that information as well when you're inputting your transcripts. Your CSIS number, so this is your student number that's located at the bottom of your student transcript. It's a pretty long code, so if you need any information or having difficulty with finding where that is, come in and see us in the Counseling Center. A planner to be organized, whether it's a digital planner or whether it's a handwritten planner, knowing what deadlines are coming up, what scholarship deadlines are due, what application deadlines, making things spread out for you so you know, I want to get my letters of request in by this day. I need my application submitted for this school by this day. I want to have all my transcripts in the computer by this day. Spread it out. That way you're not having to cram all of this in the last couple weeks in November. Again, that professional email. Remember to make it a very professional email. They don't want to see the hotsurferchick760@gmail.com. They want to see joshuasmith@gmail.com if that's available. Something that they can match your name up with very easily. Another very important piece of information, do not use your Mission Vista Gmail account. The one with your long 9-digit ID at vistausd.com, because once you guys are out of Mission Vista, I think you have that for maybe one more year, and then that email account is gone and you cannot recover things that are in there. So please make sure that you do not use that for college applications, scholarships, any of that really pertinent information that you're going to have and need to get out to and respond to within the next couple of years. Also, you need to have all transcripts, letters of recommendation, secondary school reports if needed, and that they're all requested at least 10 to 15 days, school days, once again, before they're actually due. Next up, what I'm going to be talking about here is mainly going to be focusing on your navigation sheet that was passed out today. A little play on words there for you. We're trying to make Naviance really interesting for you guys and easy to navigate around, but a lot of times there's so much information in this that this page is just looking at all the tools that are available to students on the colleges tab. So as you can see at the very top of this form here, there are different bullets and different tabs. So this is all the information that's under the colleges tab. So students are able to log into this. The district is actually working for a parent portal version of Naviance, and you guys will be able to go into to kind of see what your students are looking at or make some suggestions for your students as far as things that they can research in there. So there's 4 different sections under the colleges tab. The first section is My Colleges. So students in this section can start researching colleges that maybe they're interested in, start compiling a list of schools that they're interested in. Then they can take those schools that they're interested in and move them into the colleges I'm actually applying to tab. The only colleges that should be in the colleges I'm applying to tab are colleges you're actually applying to, because that helps us keep track of what you guys are doing. And also, if we get information about those colleges, we can do a search for students and get that information out to you specifically. You'll also be updating your information as far as your application status, whether it's been submitted or not. There's specific dates and deadlines in there that it will show when their regular decision applications are due, whether they have early decision, if they have a later application deadline, whatever's needed in there. And then under that same colleges I'm applying to link is the same area that you're going to be doing your letter of recommendation requests. So any staff member on Mission Vista campus that you're going to be requesting a letter of recommendation to is at the very bottom of that window. What you do is there's a drop-down list. Go ahead and find the teacher, counselor, or staff member that you're going to be requesting that letter of recommendation from. And then there's a notes section right next to it. And you can write them a note saying, I need you to write me a letter of recommendation for such and such scholarship. This is what they're looking for. This is what it's in regards to. That way we have some more detailed information, and then we can go look at your brag sheet to help us with that letter of recommendation. Also, deadlines on there are really important. How many of you guys are applying to a Common App school or know what Common App is? Okay, a couple hands. So Common App is an application hub for hundreds and hundreds of schools, mainly out-of-state schools and private schools. So if you are applying through a Common App school, you actually need to go in through Naviance and link your Common App account. So there's an area within the colleges I'm applying to tab. What you'll do is enter the same professional email that you are using, put that in there, put your date of birth in there, click match, and it will link your accounts. If you're having a difficult time with that, come into counseling and we can help you out with that. If you're not applying to any Common App schools, just go ahead ahead and completely forget about that Common App section. You don't have to worry about it. Other important things under the colleges tab are college visits. We have college representatives that actually come on campus. We have one representative that's with us this evening in the lobby. If any of you guys want to talk to, it's Grand Canyon University here this evening. But you can go on there, see what colleges are visiting us here at Mission Vista. Students can actually request a visit with that college, and we'll send them a pass saying, your visit is at this time on this date, and all those come from Mrs. Weethy. But all students need to be doing that through the Naviance website in order to get that information out to them. So pay attention to those dates and sign up for it. One of the benefits, sometimes when college admissions officers are out here and they're meeting with you one-on-one, they'll give you a little code on a piece of paper, and that will be a free application. So those $70 application fee or that $50 application fee is actually waived for you as a student. So that's another perk of coming to those college visits. Also on that tab of the colleges tab, there's information about college searches. You can do a college super match where you put in some information. I'm looking for colleges only in New York because I need to get away from my parents in California. Save that search, you know, you could go through there, find all those very specific things. I definitely want to go to a co-ed school. I only want 500 kids on my campus. You can start going in, creating searches, see how well these colleges are matching to you based on GPA, SAT scores, ACT scores, all that information to help you kind of get a general idea of what colleges are out there and what colleges match what you're looking for out of a school. There's also ways that you can compare colleges that you're looking to. It will put it side by side, their graduation requirements, how much the colleges are. You'll be very surprised when looking at schools that some schools, even though you hear, oh, out of state, private, done, don't even think about applying there, some of those schools are cheaper than schools within California. So keep that in mind. How many of you guys have heard of the WUI? Okay, a couple, okay. So that is another program, the Western Undergraduate Exchange Program. It's colleges on the west coast of the United States, including Hawaii, that you can apply to and you get in-state tuition. Some of those in-state tuition fees are very similar to what we charge here for Cal States or UC schools. So it's very important information for that is through our Naviance website as well. It will link you to that website. But it will give you information about the colleges that are within that program. So if you have questions, again, come up and ask us. We have a college map on there that you can look to see what students from Mission Vista, what schools or colleges or universities they're going to this year. And then there's also information about scholarships on that tab, and Mrs. Weethy updates that information. And there's also the National Sallie Mae scholarship search that actually shows you national scholarships that are available. If you ever get anything in the mail or any type of scholarship that you're applying to online that says, first we need you to give us $50 and then we'll see if you can apply for this scholarship. Don't do it. The rule of thumb is that if you're applying for money, you should not have to pay money for free money. So do not pay for any scholarships that are out there. If you want your child's name to be in a book and you want to pay $60 for their name to be printed in a book, and then you want to pay $100 for that book, by all means go for it. But it's not really going to get you anywhere but a dusty book on a shelf a couple years down the line. So just some things to think about when you're going through all of this type of stuff. And then there's other resources. The colleges tab is where students are going to be requesting their transcripts. Please do not have your student, or if you are a student, please do not say, okay, I have all these transcripts, applied to all these schools, now I need to request transcripts. UCs and CSU schools in particular do not want your transcripts until you have fully graduated, because they want to see all of your information on there. Some specific programs within UC or CSU will say, you know what, you're applying to our school, but you're also applying for this very specific program. We do need your transcripts. Then they'll let you know, then request them. But please do not request any transcripts unless the school has asked for you to send them. Because if not, we get behind and our registrar gets completely overwhelmed doing all this work for no reason because your college doesn't want that yet. All right. Other things for Naviance, just make sure that your email is up to date within the Naviance program because we send home a lot of information for students that way. Learn how to navigate the online Naviance system. We'll be giving more of these information pages out about the other sections within Naviance that students are able to access. Start working on your brag packet. Shoot, I need to add all that information in. I love to talk about myself. We have that resource for you, so go in and do that. Update the schools that you're thinking about going to. Update the schools that you know you're going to be applying to. Explore careers or majors that are within there. And once again, if you have any questions in regards to this program, having issues logging in, please come and see us in the Career Center, Counseling Career Center. The next thing that I'm going to pass it over to, and this is, we're getting towards the tail end. Thank you for holding in with us here. But this is College Apps Academy. They've been on our campus now for a year. We're going on 2 years. But they're a great resource for us as far as counselors, also as far as students. They help out a lot of our free or reduced lunch students or other students who are able to get this program for free. But they're going to be going into this information, telling you a little bit more about their program, and then parent involvement within the college application process.